Calvin, Chapter 10, page 74. We weren't making near the time I thought. It was slower going when you were walking on snow and around chunks and ridges of ice, but it felt good to be in the dimension of nothing. Close to 4 o'clock now, the sun was lower on the horizon, a wider hole in a white sky. It didn't shine. It looked like a dead sun, a ghost sun, as if the heat had all burned out of it. You could look right at it. We had maybe 2 hours before dark, so we had to make good time. I couldn't hear anything but my own breath and my boots and Susie's boots like an echo after mine. The sled felt like it was loaded up with lead. I could hear Hobbs snoring, so I figured he was taking a ride. Spaceman Spiff had been disconnected from the spaceship and was just drifting away into the vacuum. Earth kept getting smaller until it was a blue basketball, and then a blue baseball, and then a blue marble, and he stared and stared until it was a blue dot. His air ran out and his body died, but weirdly, he didn't decay in the vacuum of space, and one day, an alien garbage man picked him up, and Spiff's eyeballs were wide open and filled with shiny blue atoms. Susie stopped. For a second, I'd forgotten how to stop, and then I remembered. Susie, listen. She was staring into the sky, staring like a blind person would stare, unseeing, listening, with her whole body. Me. What? Susie. What do you hear? Me. My breathing. Susie. No, Calvin. Listen. Just listen. So I listened. When you've lived all your life with the sound of life in general, you don't even hear it anymore. You don't hear the noise of cars, trucks, trains, airplanes, refrigerators, air conditioners, furnaces, and you don't feel radio and television waves shooting through you, and you don't hear telephones, animals, birds, floors creaking, doors opening, the voices of 6 billion people all talking and laughing and crying, and over 1 billion cows mooing, and 19 billion chickens clucking, and 1 million species of bugs buzzing. And you don't realize that it all adds up to this low hum of life in general. Life in general doesn't live in the middle of the lake. Me. It's quiet. Susie had closed her eyes. She didn't answer me. My ears started straining for something, like they had this need to hear something, anything, like that little eardrum needed something to beat its bongos. After a long moment, I did. Me. It's the sound a planet makes when it travels 100,000 kilometers an hour through space. Susie, it's a truck. Me, huh? Susie, that sounds like a truck. Hobbs, a planet spinning through space sounds like a truck. Susie, turning. Calvin, we turned around. A truck was coming. A gray truck, coming straight at us. It's a truck. Susie, me, on the lake, driving on the lake. Susie, me. Tell me you see that. Susie, I see it. The truck slowed down as it pulled up beside us. It had no doors or roof, but it was a truck. A man wearing a plaid hat with ear flaps nodded to us, as if he met people walking on the lake all the time. Plaid hat guy. Have you seen Fred? Me. Susie, we don't know a Fred. Plaid hat guy. Okay, thanks. Me. Bit chilly without the doors and roof of your truck. Plaid hat guy. We take 'em off. If the ice breaks, we can jump out. Me. Oh. Susie stared down at the ice. Plaid hat guy pulled away. Me. Okay. A truck just drove up to us on the ice and asked for Fred. Sometimes the world is crazier than me. Susie staring after the truck. Stuff like that only happens when I'm with you. She looked doubtfully at the ice and started walking. Chapter 11. You know how if you stare at clouds long enough, you start to see shapes? The same thing happens with snow. You don't just see snow anymore. It has textures and colors and shapes. Snow like silk, like a wedding dress. Snow like slabs of cement, like the lake was an abandoned construction site for ice palaces. Snow like crunchy cookie crumbs. Snow stretched and blown and fine as desert dunes. And maybe, Bill, the same thing happens with people if you spend enough time with them or think about them enough. That's what was happening to me walking beside Susie hour after hour. Here on the lake, she was tough and gutsy. Growing up with her, I just took her for granted. She was just this kid who was always there when I wanted to hang out with someone or bug someone. And now she was like this woman, this strong woman who was doing this thing with me. Susie, how far do you think we've gone? I knew we weren't doing 5K an hour. and I was worried we weren't even doing 4. Me. I'm sure there will be a sign soon to let us know how far we've come. Susie. Clever. Me. My brain I offer to the gods. Susie. What makes you think they want it? Me. What makes you think I want it? Calvin the human furnace moves forward on his mission to cross the Arctic lake. The human furnace and his companion are tiny hotspots in a wasteland of frozen cold. Together they trudge, partners in their dark destiny, willing to share in the glory of success or the ignominious fate of defeat. Me, trudge, trudge. Me, trudge, trudge. Me, trudge, trudge. Susie, you're driving me crazy. Me, welcome to my world. Susie, I know we're trudging. I don't need a voiceover. We trudged, and I didn't say the word trudge once. Susie took over the compass because I kept forgetting to look at it. Hobbs, I know why you did this. You did it on purpose, knowing that I'm a jungle animal and I don't like the cold. You want me to freeze to death. Me, that would be a bonus. Hobbs, why do you want to get rid of me? I'm your friend. Me, are you sure you're my friend? Hobbs, I've never eaten you. Doesn't that prove my undying friendship? I'm here to protect you and to make sure you don't give up on winning the Change the World lottery. Me, you're not protecting me. You're the thing I need protecting against. Hobbs, I could help you with Susie. I've got a way with the babes. Me, we're on a hike, not a date. Susie, you got that right. Other guys take me to the movies. Me, let's remember I didn't ask you on this date. Susie, that was very gallant of you to say. Me, but I'm glad you came. She stopped. Susie, you are? You admit it? Me, it's easy to admit things to a figment of your imagination. She laughed. That was a bad sign. The real Susie would have punched me in the arm. Susie, frowning, looking down. Calvin, I'm sorry. Me, you should be. What are you sorry for? Susie, for ditching you to hang out with other people. Me, oh that. Susie, turns out they were boring. Me, even the guys you dated? Susie, especially them. Me, and I'm not boring? Susie, no, sometimes I wish you were a bit more boring. Hobbs, you are boring. You keep telling me to go away. When did you get so boring? Me, to Hobbs, I can't play my life away. There's this thing called growing up. It's essential for functioning in the adult world. Hobbs, the adult world is highly overrated. Me, it's the only one I know of for people over a certain age. Hobbs, we could have our own world. Me, Bill Watterson is the adult world, is in the adult world, and I, Hobbs, Bill Schmill, also highly overrated. Why do you keep talking about him like he's the creator of the known universe? Me, hey, you wouldn't exist without him. Hobbs, remember what it feels like to wake up on a summer morning and not think about anything except going outside and sitting under a tree. You've forgotten. I bet Bill has too. Instead of a heart, you'll have an iPhone. Instead of a brain, you'll have pings that tell you what has to be done that day and that minute. You'll never sit in a treehouse again or build a snow fort. You'll rake and shovel walks instead. But it doesn't have to be that way, old buddy. Me, Susie, Susie. Oh, you're talking to me now. Please don't let me interrupt what must be a scintillating conversation. Me, do you know what the default network in your brain is? Susie, yes, I know what the default network is. Me, you do? Susie, of course I don't. I'm normal. Normal people don't know all this stuff about their brains. Me, so the default network consists of 3 main regions: the medial prefrontal cortex, the posterior cingulate cortex, and the parietal cortex. Susie, sounds like a fabric for fitness wear. Me, all these parts of our brain talk to each other like social networking. The medial prefrontal helps us imagine ourselves as individuals and also the thoughts and feelings of others. Animals have trouble with that. This is a thing that makes us human. Hobbs, hey. Susie, can you imagine my thoughts and feelings right now? Me, ignoring her. All those brain bits give you this sense of yourself, like you're the star in the movie of your life. But people who have schizophrenia, their medial prefrontals go on strike. Malfunction, malfunction. We're thinking all right, but we don't know where the thoughts are coming from, so it feels like someone is putting thoughts in our heads, or someone is reading our minds. Susie, you are so weird. She stopped suddenly and sat on the sled. Susie, I have to sit. I sat beside her. I reached into the duffel bag and pulled out 2 granola bars. We peeled the wrappers off and ate slowly. I threw a piece behind me for Hobbs. Susie, what are you doing? Me, feeding Hobbs. Susie, that's a waste of food. Hobbs, that's a matter of opinion. Susie was staring out over the lake. Me, you okay? Susie, it's beautiful. Really, isn't it? Me, stomping the ice. What, this old thing? She didn't smile. Susie, this emptiness. I bet we're the only ones who have come this far. It's been this beautiful and strange on the lake every winter forever, and nobody knew about it and nobody cared, and it still went on being beautiful just because. Susie, doesn't it make you feel kind of awesome that the world is beautiful for no other apparent reason than that it is? Like beauty has its own secret reason? It doesn't need human eyes to notice. It just wants to be glorious and unbelievable. Me, you're unbelievable. Susie had been breaking off bits of her granola bar and eating them as if her hands were part of her digestive system before teeth. After a minute, she looked at me. Susie, you're not following that up with a sarcastic comment. Me, no. Susie, that was a major step forward in our relationship. I didn't answer because the word relationship was pinging around in my skull. Susie, do you ever wonder what life is all about, Calvin? Yeah, I know you do. You're one of the few guys I personally know who stop to wonder about that. For me, I don't know what it's all about, but I've decided maybe that's the cool thing about it. Life lets you decide for yourself. I mean, it would be awful if it wasn't up to us, wouldn't it? If life said, this is what I'm about, and don't go getting any ideas of your own. Me, so have you had any ideas? She nodded. Susie, as weird as it sounds, I got an idea a long time ago that you were one of the things my life was about. Me, when you say you, do you mean me? Susie, ignoring me. I didn't know what that would mean. Maybe it would be just something I felt and wouldn't add up to anything. Maybe I'd just, keep newspaper articles about you in an album if you became famous. Or maybe if you became a starving artist, I'd have to send you money in unmarked envelopes. But then you got sick, and I thought maybe it meant that I was supposed to be there for you. Or help in some way. We were quiet for a while. Me. You're wrong about us being the only ones who have ever seen this. Walter Lick walked across the lake in the winter of 1912. Gene Huser in 1963 and Dave Volker in 1978. Who knows if there's been anyone since? Susie, did they live? Me, barely. Susie, barely is better than nothing. We finished our granola bars and got walking. I felt like I could walk to the moon, Bill. I was on this hike with a girl who could see something beautiful on a vast, empty, eerie, frozen lake. Underneath the ice, it was dark and cold and mysterious, but all she saw was the beauty and awesomeness of it. I actually almost forgot about Hobbs for a while, and then he was there again. Hobbs, thanks. Me. For what? Hobbs, for nothing. Me. What? Hobbs, how come I only get one bite of granola bar? Don't let me get too hungry.